This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. We are talking about store procedures with input parameters, and we also discussed store procedures can take output parameters. Okay, let us understand what is the need for the output parameters. Let me use iBank, and let me create a store procedure, create a proc. So get uh, okay get transactions, date, or get customer info, something like this. We create one simple stored proc, and so let me provide the account number as clear. So as begin, and I wanted to get simply account ID, name, and what is the C balance, the customer has. Very simple stored program writing where account ID is equivalent to at the rate account ID, right? So let me create this stored proc. So after creating a stored proc, you can just watch the stored proc is centralized. Clear? So stored proc will have insert, update, delete commands plus all SQL and T-SQL commands. Already we had seen this. Now, how can we call a store procedure? Calling a store procedure is very, very simple. You need to give this, and you need to supply the account number, right? When you supply account number, so it is going to be giving you 101 billion. This is the information, right? So now I wanted to, if I give a wrong number, what happens? If I give you a wrong number, it is not going to be getting anything. So you need to handle this kind of a situations also. If the customer gives the wrong number, you need to tell the customer saying that you have entered the wrong number. How can we verify whether the given ID is valid or not? So we can use if exist function. Okay, if exist, select, same thing we can use. Okay, same thing we can use. Start from account ID. If it is getting any value, for example, if you give you 101, 101 will get some data. If you have at least one row, exist function will become true. Okay. If this is becoming true, then this statement will get executed. Clear? So that is the meaning. If you have at least one row, this will get executed. Else, if no row means we can say print your account ID is invalid. Clear? Please check the account ID, ACID, okay, or account number, something like this. We can print. So we have to alter this stored proc. We need to alter this stored proc. So let me execute this first. Now I wanted to give you this. So now when I execute, I'm able to see your account ID is invalid. Please check. Okay. So that's what is the thing. We are getting it. Clear? Whenever you modify something, compulsorily you must execute it. If you give a wrong number, your account ID is invalid. Please check. So this is what is the beautiful. This is what is the extra thing that you can do as part of programming. Clear? Now I wanted to know, I don't want to execute and display the data. For example, if I give 101, the data is going to be displayed at the server end. But normally in the real time, what happens? In the real time, this is your server, right? Already we knew it. This is a server and this is the client. Client means ATM machines, right? Where the customer is going to go. The customer is going to go to ATM machine. The data has to be displayed on the screen of the client. Clear? So whenever you say get me my balance, you're executing a stored procedure. Okay. So stored proc will get executed. It is going to go here and get the data. But now what I wanted to do, I don't want to display because display is happening on the server side because we simply put what select blah blah blah. I wanted to get the information. The printing has to be done. The printing has to be done at the client side. Clear? So this is what is your database, and this is what is your data. Plus you have stored procs and everything is available here. Okay, these are your tables, and here you have views and stored procs and functions, right? So if you call any function, if you call any stored proc is supposed to give me the data. So stored proc suppose not to print anything here. It has to give me the data so that I can print everything at my client end. So client application. Client means you may be running SAP or .NET, maybe Java, right? Any software that is installed and is running here, or Angular JS, right? You may be having Python, right? If you're using a phone, then definitely Android, right? Android or iOS. So something, the front end application will be there where I wanted to display. For example, it could be a phone or it could be uh, your ATM machine or it could be your laptop as well, right? So all these are called as clients. Clear? So whenever you use Android mobile phone, the display has to happen in the Android mobile phone, or the display has to happen in the Java, ATM machine. So ATM machines are equipped with Java, right? So now how can we do that? So we should not print like this. We supposed to give all the data. We supposed to give all the data to the client. So that is when we going to be writing. What is that we need to give? We need to give name and C balance. Clear? So we'll say customer name. You can give anything. Varchar. What is the customer name according to the account master table? When you go here, so columns, when you open it, customer name varchar 40. Clear? And you need to write out. So if you don't write which is the input parameter, when you mention which is the output parameter, put comma, then the next one I would like to display C balance, right? Simply we can give any name, money, right? So you need to say out. So one input parameter, two output parameter. So I need not display account number again. Simply, I wanted to display name and C balance. That's it, nothing else. Okay. But anyhow, we are supplying account number, right? That is also if you wanted to print that you can print it, but we can have customer name and balance. These two are need to be printed. So I need to get this and keep. So what happens? The name is going to go from here to this. So this is a parameter, output parameter. So output parameters are simply known as variables only. But only thing is that these are going to be giving you the data. Clear? So as soon as the execution is started, what happens? So this is the a RAM inside your server. So three variables are created, not variables, three parameters are created. One parameter is called account ID. This is account ID. This is your customer name, right? This is your customer balance. Now, for example, if you give 101, what happens? So 101 is going to go to this place. Okay. 101 is going to go here. Then this line will get executed. Customer name is going to go to this box, right? Balance is going to go to this box. Where is it is going to go? So this is going to go at the server side. Clear? So because you are executing the stored procedure, so this is what is server RAM. Okay, RAM at the server side. The client application is executing a stored proc. So what value? This is your client. The client will go and execute, right? So this is the statement the client is going to give you. When the client is going to give you this, what happens? So stored proc has three parameters, one input and two output. So the input parameter is 101. 101 will get substituted and this code will get executed, right? The customer name and C balance will be going here. That's what will happen. So now these two values, because these two are for the output purpose, that means this data, these are ready to give you, right? So the client application has to take the data from these two output parameters. For example, I will tell you that I have mangoes, I have bananas, right? I'm telling you that I will give you mangoes and bananas. What will you do? This is the mango and this is the banana I have in my house. So I told Simret, I told Saujanya, everybody, hey guys, come to my house. I'll give you mangoes and bananas. What is your responsibility? Your responsibility to carry two empty bag. This is your bags. Clear? So when you get the empty bag, I will be transferring from my boxes to your box, from my box to your box. Okay. Client application responsibility, whenever you're calling, you supposed to carry two extra boxes as well, because already you have taken the customer name and customer balance. So these boxes I cannot give you from server to the client. Client application has to carry two bags. For example, Saujanya comes to my home, she will carry two baggy. This is for to get the banana, this is to get apple. And tomorrow, Simret or Ravina comes to my home. Again, they need to carry two empty bags, because they know that I will give you two output parameters. One is called apple, one more is called banana. Clear? So that is the thing you should know it. Clear? So output parameters are always going to be keeping the data in a separate parameters. These parameters cannot come out. You need to carry your own bags, own carry bags to catch this data. Clear? So now the stored proc is done. The stored proc is created. Now we have to execute this. When you execute, it is not going to work. Sorry. Now we need to first execute this stored proc. Executed. Now this call will not get executed. Why? As I told you, which will accept two parameters, customer name and everything. I told you, right? At the time of calling, you supposed to carry two more bags. Declare name varchar. This is a blank variable, and 40. Declare at the rate balance money. Clear? You can use any names, doesn't matter. So you put comma and you say, this is my empty bag. So that's what you need to tell. So what is the empty bag? Sorry. So control C, control V. This is my bag I'm going to be taking out. This is my bag I am going to be taking out. So these are the things that you need to write at the time of calling. Remember, many people will not know about it. So when you come to my home, you need to carry two bags. So this is empty boxes, right? And you're telling Bhaskar sir, this is, I'm going to be taking out. This is what I'm going to be taking out. So I'll execute with 101 and I dump all the things into these bags. Clear? So this bag name is called what? This bag name is called name, and this bag name is called what? Balance, right? You can have any name. Data from here, it will go here. Data from it will go here. That's it. Now what I do, I should be able to print. I should be able to print at the rate name, and I can be printing at the rate balance. Clear? So this is how you should be able to call the stored proc. Now billion and this one. Have you seen this? Billion and this one you should be able to see. very, very easily. Clear? So you need to carry two empty boxes at the time of going. You need to buy this, create this, then you need to say out and out. Many people will come to me and ask me, sir, they forget to put this. They forget to put this. Sir, it is not working. I have written everything. It is not giving me anything. What is the issue? Okay. So what is the issue? You need to compulsorily write out and out. This is input parameter. This is out and out. So this is how you should be able to call a input and output parameter. You have to take your own empty bag and go, and so that the server is going to be dumping the data from its bag to your bag, right? From the bag of servers to your bag. Clear? So the output parameter will not come to you. You need to declare a memory and a carry. Clear? So that is how the input and output parameters are going to be working. Are you clear? So this is the purpose of input and output parameter. I don't want to display data at the server side directly. I wanted to give the data in a carry bags. Okay, parameters are nothing but a boxes where you're going to be putting the data. Clear? So in the server side, but at the time of calling the stored procedure, the stored proc has to create two empty parameters. So that empty variables, these are not parameters, variables, and they need to write like this so that the data from this box to it will come. And same sequence you need to follow. The first one is account number, the first one is account number, the second one is customer name. Here it is a name or a customer name. Next one is the balance, the next one is the bal or balance. Clear? Then you need to print, or you can use anything else. So like this. If you don't want to print, you can use select as well, right? Select is a SQL command, and you can also say select. Clear, guys? So this is the purpose of what? Purpose of the output parameters. Output parameters always carry data from server to the client, but actually these are not going to go to this client. The client machine has to create two more variables, and the client has to come with two empty bags so that the server machine can drop the things into this. Am I clear? So this is what the things would happen. Clear? So output parameters are very, very important. Clear? You can also supply a default value like this. Default value means if the customer does not provide anything, you take this as a default value and execute it. So that is also you can have it. If the customer does not give you anything, now you should be able to execute like this. Let me execute. Now it was accepting this value even though I gave you the value, but which is expecting something. Now in that case, what we can do, let me put like this. You will have a separate call. I forgot the syntax, so how to get or how to use default value, right? So execute we can get the syntax, okay? Because if you write without this, it is going to work. But let me check it out. Or you can also check it out how to call with the input and output parameters. Let me, if we get it, we can use it. All the procedure, these are the start date and date. Yes, this is the ship. Oh, it's giving like this. This is not what I'm looking at. No, this is not the one. Okay, guys, you just look into this how to call. I forgot the syntax. Okay, so if it is not there, for example, let me comment this for some time. Okay, let me just comment this line for some time. So it is going to work, right? Let me give you this. Okay, now let me alter this proc. Now, if you don't supply anything, simply you can call this because it was a simple stored proc that we can call, even though the parameter is, uh, it's supposed to take one input parameter, but we did not supply anything here because it is having a input parameter, right? The default value is available here. Okay, if this is not available, compulsorily you must to supply. Okay, if it is not there, if it is not there, then you must supply at the time of calling. Now you see, it will accept this. So compulsorily you need to you need to put some input parameter. But if you have a default value here, default value could be 121 or 101, any number you can have is equivalent to. This is what is called default value with the input parameters. Let me give you, if you don't supply anything here, then it is going to be taking that. Clear 121. If you do supply 123, 123 will be taken and you will be able to get the data. And if you supply a wrong number, so what happens? It is going to go to the else block and you will be able to see your account ID is invalid. Please check the account number and everything. Am I clear? So like that, you should be able to understand. So I have commented this. Let me execute this. So we can easily modify and put comma. So this is this line I have commented. I'm going to be using this code. That's it. So this is with input and output parameters. Let me have this. That's fine. Now, one thing we should be able to understand here. One thing we should be able to understand here. Whenever you call any stored procedure, whenever you call any stored procedure, you have to know one thing clearly. What is that one thing? That is, if the stored proc is failing to execute in between, what will you do it? For example, I'm telling you that you go to market and get some apples for me. You means you're a stored procedure. Clear? You means you're a stored procedure. You wanted to go to supermarket and you have to get me an apple. Clear? So the next one I'm talking about exception handling. It is very, very important. Let us concentrate the next subject. Okay. Exception handling, called as a error handling. Exception, error handling. Error handling means exception means error occurs at the runtime, right? At the runtime is called as an exception, right? Occurs at the runtime is called as an exception. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? For example, uh, you're in the flight. Flight is going from India to America. You think like that, or from South Africa to America. There are a lot of technical problems in the flight. The engine is getting, too much, hot, or the software in the flight is not working properly. So during the runtime, flight is, going from America, India to America, the lot of problems are occurring. That is means at the runtime, if you get any kind of an issue, what will you do? Can you fix it there itself? The flight is going on now. Can you fix it? You will not be able to fix it. So, but you will be able to get any kind of an issue. For example, our scientist will, send the rockets to the moon, right? But sometimes it will be succeeded, sometimes it will get failed. So when there is a failure, and immediately there is a next day there is an announcement that this is what is failed, this is what is the problem, this is what is the issue with the rocket, and that we couldn't launch it. So this was the failure. So how come they know? How come they know the failure is happened at this level? You don't know, right? For example, you supposed to go to market and you supposed to get an apple. You're supposed to buy an apple. So I have given you a task. So who's I am the customer. So I wanted to give you an activity, right? So what I do, I'll go to a ATM machine. I wanted to say, get me some statement or get me my balance. When I give this activity, when I click on this button, this machine is going to be executing a stored procedure. This machine is executing a stored procedure, and this is a server, right? This is a server. The stored proc will go and will execute line by line, line by line, line by line, and it has to get you the result set. The client will see the data. That is how the things would happen. But now you are executing a stored proc. Stored proc executed this line successfully. This line successfully. The store procedure is failed to execute this line. There is a failure happened, right? So code is not getting executed. There is a failure. There is an issue. Now what will you do? So runtime means when the stored proc is getting executed line by line, line by line, it is executed two lines. In the third line, there is a problem. It is not able to execute it. So what happens if the stored proc is not able to execute? It will throw some error, and the stored proc will not give any info to this fellow. That is what is called the bad thing here. For example, I told you, hey, you go to supermarket and get some apple. So this is you, you're going. So this is me, I am asking, hey, you go and get some apple for me. So you have given the task to stored procedure. Let us say a Ravina or maybe Saujanya, maybe Nitish, he is going to go to the supermarket and get an apple. So this is going here. By the time they go, what is happening? Heavy rain. Because of rains, this stored proc is stuck. This is you are stuck because you're not able to come out because it's heavy rain and traffic is completely blocked everywhere. You're not able to move. Now tell me, if there is a problem here, how do I know that you're stuck in the traffic? You supposed to call me, you supposed to inform me, you supposed to tell me something, but you are not calling. You don't have any phone, you don't have any communication. So how do you inform that, Bhaskar sir, you gave me amount to buy an apple, but I am stuck in the traffic, or I am met with an accident, I am hospitalized. If I don't get any communication, I assume that you're going to be giving me an apple, but you met with an accident, or you went here, the shops are closed, or you went here, apple is not available, something is problem. What will you do? You have to communicate. So we enter the market, the shop is closed, then you are not informing anything to me. You supposed to tell me, Bhaskar sir, shop is closed. Sir, I am met with an accident. I'm in now hospital. You need to inform me something. Otherwise, client application does not have any clue what is happening with the stored procedure. Are you with me? So this is what is called exception handling. So when the error occurs at the runtime, so that is what is called exception. Okay, that is good. But if error occurs, what should I do? You should not do anything. You have to log the data. What data? Log the error data. So this is what you should do it. If there is a problem, immediately you should call your mother saying that the kid is not well. So the communication has to happen. Otherwise, the mother does not know what is going on in the school, right? So that is what we're talking about. If something program is executing at the server side, if there is a failure, stored proc by default will not communicate anything to the client application. That is the default behavior. Okay. If there is a problem occurring to the stored procedure here, if there is a failure, stored proc will not communicate anything to the client application. That is the default behavior. Clear? But what the server has to do, server has to immediately log these details to the client, so that a client can see, client can show you there is an error occurred. Sometimes you will get, transaction declined, this is occurred, that is occurred, some information. If that is also not there, then you don't know, you're putting ATM card, debit card, and you're trying and trying, stored proc will go and failure. But we don't get any communication at the client side, so you have to get some communication, right? The communication can happen through logs. Clear? So this is what is called exception handling. How do you handle exceptions? That is how the people would ask you. If you write a stored procedure, how do you handle, exercise? For example, flight is going on. Now there is a problem. What is the problem? I told you problem means exception occurred in the flight. An error occurs in the flight, during the travel. So what we can do? Can we fix something? No, we cannot fix because you're in the middle way. So what will you do? You have to log everything into the black box, right? If there is a problem there, immediately the black box is going to be getting complete data, so that log information which is part of black box can be open and check, or the flight will communicate to the airport authority saying that there is a problem in the machine, there's a problem in this end, there's a problem in this end. Clear? Only the communication has to go, nothing can be done because the flight is already started from India, say Hyderabad airport to Dubai, from Dubai to, it's supposed to go to London, from London to America, something like this. So what happens? Already started here. After 1 hour, there is a problem, there is errors, engine is too much heat, or it is not able to get proper air, and lot of things are happening, in the flight. So what will be doing? Immediately the communication will happen to one of the airports, and the communication will be given by flight to the authority saying that there's a problem. So whoever is having the touch base with that flight, they'll get the communication. That is what is called a logging. Clear? So whenever any error occurs, either in a flight or in a stored procedure, immediately we have to log the data into a separate table, or we need to log the data details to the end user, or to the end, the client machine. Something you're supposed to do it. Clear? So this is what is called handling exceptions. So how do you handle exceptions in the SQL Server? Okay, an error occurs at the runtime is called as an exception. So SQL Server is providing, okay, SQL Server is providing various techniques to handle the error. So now SQL provide SQL Server will give us a few things now. What is that? So the old thing, let us see. For example, you supposed to execute, you're executing line by line, line by line. There is a error occurred in this line. There is a error occurred in this line. Whether this statement is executed successfully or not, how do we know? We don't know because you're supposed to do multiple steps, right? You're supposed to do multiple steps. For example, I'm telling you, you go to market and buy an apple. First, you take my car. Step number is one, successful. But in the halfway, the car fuel is over. You're stuck. You don't have any extra money. The fuel is over, or there is a puncture, or there is a big issue with the car, and the car is stopped working. Clear? So the step number one is failed. So you're not able to start, or at least middle of the way, your car is stopped working. So if you're executing multiple steps, we wanted to know whether step number one is executed successfully or not, whether step number two executed successfully or not. For example, you've taken the car, reached, let us say, supermarket, shopping mall. You supposed to buy an apple. Before that, you wanted to withdraw some cash from the ATM machine. You went to the ATM machine. Unfortunately, you get the wrong debit card. So resetting, it is not working. So you're stuck in the second step. What is that? You bought, say, wrong, debit card. Because of that, you don't have any cash there in the debit card. So now you're, failure in the second step. Clear? Or you're able to collect the cash and you went to the shop. Unfortunately, the apple is not available in that shop, or no shops are selling apples today because no more stock. So your failure in the step number three. Clear? So you may fail any steps. So select query is there, one more select query is there, one more select query is there, one more insert query, delete query, update query. You may be having select, insert, update multiple queries, but we supposed to know where you guys are, failing in the step number one, step number two, step number three, step number four. So if this is a successfully executed means, okay, if everything is successfully executed, we have a at the rate error. I told you this variable. Okay, this will become zero. If everything is successful, if this is the previous statement is successful, means this will become zero. Zero means a green flag. That means everything is success. Print. So successfully executed this step. Clear? And you're printing, but this is not the important thing. I need to get a communication to the client. Printing success is not this. You need to give a communication, some kind of a communication to the client machine. So in this case, what normally we use, we should not print like this. We'll say return zero. Clear? So you need to know one thing here. I'm talking about written statement. Okay. So written statement is used. Written zero means everything is success. Okay. Written non-zero. Non-zero means failure. It could be any other number. That is a failure. That means written zero means a green flag. Written non-zero means a red flag. Okay. So written statement is used to inform the client saying that the stored proc is till now is giving you zero. That means what? Everything is fine. For example, you're going from India to America. You reached Dubai airport now. You send father saying that zero. Zero means I have reached. So at least phase number one is completed. Now phase number two, you supposed to take one more flight in Dubai and go to London. So that is also done. You will send one more zero. That means the second one is also successful. The next from London to you need to supposed to go to America, that is also reached. You will see, you will send one more zero to your father saying that that is also done. Then you have a friend who's going to pick you up and he came and you're going in his car to his room. So that is also occurred. Now you will send one more zero to the father. So that means father will get four zeros. That means everything is successful. You get a first zero is done, second 0, and third 0, you send 1. 1 means non-zero. So father knows that 2 steps are completed and the third step is failed. Clear? So for each and every step, we can give a 0. 0 means what? A, the step is completed successfully. Okay. So written means it is going to be telling you the stored proc executed successfully till that point. Clear? So that is what you need to understand. So if everything is successful means automatically this is the global variable, it will become 0, right? For example, select account ID, comma name, where account comma name from account master table, where account ID is equivalent to 121. Let me execute it. If it is executing, it will give you result. I am not interested in the result. I wanted to know whether this is completely executed successfully or not. If it is successfully executed, the error will become, this is what is called a result. I am interested in. I am not interested in in these numbers. I need to see 0 here. Have you seen this? But if you write some wrong table name here, so what will happen? It will fail. When it fails, this will give you non-zero. Clear? So that means the above statement is not successfully executed. So I'm interested in this value. I am not interested in this value. Clear? If there is a failure here, you will be able to see this, but this you can see. But this information will go to the client saying that non-zero occurred. The above statement is failed. Clear? What is this? This is a global variable. It will become automatically 0 when you have a proper execute, the previous statement is executed successfully. Clear? If the previous statement is failed means it will become non-zero. Clear? So this is a trick we were handling initially to implement error handling. Clear? If everything is 0 means you return 0, else we'll say return 1. Okay, so this is what is called error handling, exception handling 10 years back. Clear? You assume you have only one line of code here. You may be having one more line of code here. What will happen? So definitely you have to write these 4 lines for each and every step. Clear? It is showing the error because if you write multiple lines, you need to use what? Begin. Okay, if you use a single line, if you write a single line there is no problem, but if you write multiple lines of the code you should be able to say something here. Okay, if everything is successful, so what are we writing? We are writing everything is in a successful 0 else 1. So this is also your account ID is invalid, so this is also some kind of an error, right? So we need to give some return statement here as well because there is a problem occurred. Return, you can give two, return. Okay, return two and else, begin and end else. Clear? So what is the meaning of this? If everything is smooth here, this code will get executed. If there's a problem here, this code will get executed. You will get one to the client application. Client application will get one. One means it knows that there is a problem occurred. Clear? Or if you get two also, there's a problem occurred. What is the problem? The problem these people will identify, but there's a problem occurred. This how the earlier we were writing lot of codes. Clear? So the problem with this kind of a code is that too much of a code you supposed to write because there's only one statement. I'm writing these 4 lines. Tomorrow, if you have multiple statements here, multiple times I need to write because after the statement I need to write these 4 lines. Again, you have one more select statement, write one more line here. So automatically this code will get increased. Okay, but you can see many times. Okay, let me execute this first. So people are going to be writing this kind of a code. What is a return statement? Return statement will tell you whether the called stored proc is executed successfully or not. Okay. So It tells you whether the called stored proc executed successfully or not. Okay. So the client machine is not interested with the numbers. The client machine is always interested with zeros. If the client machine is getting zero, means everything is properly done. Otherwise, it is not done properly. Clear? So that's what is very, very important. Clear guess, if everything is successful means you will be able to get zero, else you will be able to get one or two, something like this. Now I wanted to call this. Okay, so this is taking two parameters and one input parameter, two output parameters. So that is how we're going to be calling. This is the fine. But how do we know what is the written statement? A written statement means return zero, written one. What is it is going to be giving you? For that purpose, we need to declare what is called as RC. RC means return code. You can give any name, right? Now this value you need to keep like this. Clear? So if this is a zero, so let me print. Okay, let me select what is the value you're getting it. Okay, RC. So it will give you print. It will give you RC. Now, when you execute this, now see everything is successfully fine. So normally what we do, we'll say if RC is equals to return code equals to this, then what you do? You print this, you print this. Okay. You say begin, you print this, you print this, else you print what? Something is problem. Transaction is declined. Something is a problem there. So this is what you supposed to write at the client side. Clear? So everything is successful. There's no problem because RC value will become as zero. Okay. So this is how you need to keep your RC value. If this is executed successfully means you will get a zero here. Else you will get one or two. If it is one or two, it will go to else block. It will print it to the client saying that a transaction is declined. What is the issue? We don't know, but there's an error occurred. Clear? So always the client application is not interested with these numbers, right? This number could be anything. You need to know the client application has to get always the proper communication by the server. So this how the people were handling errors previously. But this was very, very slow process and lot of code we need to write. Okay, so exception handling was good. Too much of code you need to write, too much of code, and it is difficult to handle the error handling. Clear? So now the new syntax Microsoft is given to handle the errors. So with the help of try and catch blocks. Okay, Microsoft is giving new syntax to handle the errors, new syntax to handle the error. Handling means what? Capturing the error to handle the errors. So when since SQL Server 2005 onwards, clear? So Microsoft is giving you new component called try catch blocks. It is almost 15, 16 years back. Microsoft introducing a try catch blocks to handle the errors. This is not the way we are going to be writing the code now. So how to implement a try catch block? Let me show you the syntax of the try catch block. You can say like this: begin try, end try, and begin catch, end catch. This is the syntax. Clear? So in the begin try and try, what we do, we can write any code there. Whatever be the code that you wanted to write, you should be able to keep the code here. If there's a problem in the code, what happens? What happens here? The data will get captured in the catch block. Okay, it is going to be catching the error in this block. Clear? If there is a failure, if there is a failure in the code, if there is a failure, without you writing anything, automatically the catch block is going to be catching the error. This error, you can, store it anywhere or give it to the client. So this is very, very easy. This is how the people are implementing nowadays try catch blocks and errors also. So what we supposed to do it? So you need to remove all this old code. So this is useless, right? So all the written statements and everything, let me, remove it now. Now I wanted to say begin try, right? I have to say begin try. And this is the code. The code ends here and try. So all the code I kept it here. If there is a problem anywhere, for example, you are able to get some issue here. If there is an issue here, immediately what happens? What happens? We are going to be using begin catch and end catch. So this block you need to write. So in this, what is the problem and which line the problem occurred? So all the information automatically will get caught. Okay, you need not write this one, that one, blah blah blah. If everything is good, you can put simply, if everything is put, return 0. Okay, sorry, you need not write. If everything is over, if everything is over means at the end, before coming out, you can say return 0 here. Okay, because it will execute this code and before it coming out, because if it is executing the code and it has to come out, right, at the end you put return 0, right? If there's a problem, then immediately it will come to this block. Okay, this will be, so everything is success because it is going to be executing this. Then after that, else block will not get executed. Next line will get executed. Return 0, everything is success here. Okay, so everything is success, else it will go to this block. So if there is a problem here or anywhere, if there is a problem, so what happens? We have a predefined functions. Microsoft is given. Function means a block of code, predefined functions. Okay, predefined functions. Okay, so the function is select at the select error line. Okay, in which line you got the error? So error underscore line, in which line you got the error? So whether this line, this line, this line, this line, which line you got the error, the error number automatically captured with the help of this guy. Clear? So this is the predefined function is given. Now, the next one is called, when you press ERR, error message. What is the actual error occurred? So this will give you error message, comma, when you go error number, some number will be associated automatically. So error number will be, it is printing. Then error procedure, in which procedure you got this error. So error SP name. Clear? Our SP name is this. So it will tell you in this SP there is an error. Clear? So then when the error occurred, we can use get date, right? So get date will give me the date and time. So error, date and time, comma. Then what are the things? Error severity, lot of information. It is very, very complicated error or very simple error, error severity. Like that, many things are available. Error state. Okay, lot of things we don't understand, but we should be able to capture a lot of information like this. All these are predefined errors. Clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 things, 6 predefined functions are available. Simply in your catch block, always you keep them. That's it, nothing else. When you execute, you don't get anything. You will, everything will be null except the get date. Okay, so everything is null except the get date, because error line, error message, everything will be printing like this. So if there is an error occurs here, if any error occurs in any line, so immediately catch block is going to be executed. That's what you need to understand. Immediately catch block will get executed. Clear? So catch block will get executed. You need not write anything here. Simply before you coming out, you put return 0, and there's an error occurred. This will give you some, and you will say return 1. This will give you error, then it will give you return 1. That means a non-zero. There is a problem occurred. Clear? So this is how you should be able to, write nowadays. Complete code will be in the which block? In the begin try and end try. And catch block will not change anywhere. Catch block will not change anywhere. Everywhere the same thing will be available. Clear? So this is what is called error handling. Now if there is error, then only you will be able to get the kind of information. Otherwise you don't get anything here. Clear? Let me show you one more simple example. So I declare at the rate x integer, declare at the rate y integer, and I say declare z integer and set at the rate x value equals to 10, set at the rate y value is equals to 2, and set at the rate z is equivalent to at the rate x divided by at the rate y. It is a simple example. Let me execute. Now I say print at the rate z value. Clear? Simple program. Let me execute this code. I'm able to get 5, right? But whatever be the reason, somebody is giving you a 0 like this. Now divided by 0 error occurs. There is a failure. Clear? If there is a failure occurs, it will abruptly stop the program. It is not going to execute abruptly. So this kind of a communication divided by 0 error occurred. So this information need to be given to the client. Clear? So you're getting some kind of an error. So this communication has to happen. For example, now I write this in a program. So how to write it in a program? Create proc USP. So divide two numbers, okay, as begin, and write the complete code in this, right? Write the complete code where? In this. But we need to implement what is called as error handling. So what we need to do? We have to say begin try. Now you say and try. After that, you need to catch. So catching purpose, you have a predefined functions. Always the catch block will not change. You completely copy this. Copy the same code and you go and you paste it here. So catch block will not change. If everything is successful, you say return 0 and come out. Okay, this is for the success. Everything is success here. Okay, all the code is written, so you can just come out. This is for the failure. So if there is a failure, why the failure is going to occur? Now let me execute this proc. What is that? Oh, print is Z. Sorry, print is Z. So that is missing. Let me execute. Now this code is created. Now I wanted to call this stored procedure. Okay, how can we call? Simply exec stored proc name. Okay, simply execute stored proc name. Stored proc is having a 0, right? Stored proc is having 0. You will get a error in this line because 10 by 0 will give you error here. So this is going to be calling this immediately. Clear? Now you see what happens. Now you see error line in the 11th line, you got an error, and this is the error and error number and the stored proc name and what is the time, severity, everything you're able to see it. Clear? So this is how you should be able to see the error. Okay. So instead of giving every value here, we can also declare, we can also put input parameters as open the bracket, close the bracket. You can say at the rate x integer, at the rate y integer, we can supply the values. Okay. So these two we can remove because we are going to be supplying the data, right? Then we'll be able to print. Okay. Now I will say I will give number 10 and 2. I will be able to get the data 5. Okay. If I give you 400 and something else here, so I should be able to get some data. But if I give you some number and a 0, I'm getting this kind of an error. Which line I got this error? Everything clear? If you wanted to create a table and store these errors, clear? So what we need to do, we have to create a log table. Create a table, say logs, okay, SQL logs table. So there is a problem in the SQL logs, means we're going to be creating a table. The table will have ID column integer identity. Okay, automatically you will be able to get one number. Identity. Okay, if you don't write anything, it is by default 1 comma 1. The next one you can give, the next one is called error line. Okay, error line could be a varchar data. Error line may be integer, so you can have not null. Okay, now error message next, it may be varchar max. Not null. Next one, error number is again number, integer. Then stored proc name, maybe this, more than 100 characters, right? Then after stored proc name, error date and time. Okay, we can create a this will be date and time value. Now error severity. So all these things you can have it. So you can create a one customized table, and severity is an integer, I think. So which is a null or not null, whatever you wanted to write, right? And error state. This is also, I think, a number. So you should be able to write like this. Okay. And you can put null or not null, doesn't matter. So these are the things I have created. So this is automatic number, and remaining things I'm going to be creating a table where inside iBank database. Now you can see if any problem occurs, so all the data is going to go to this log table when the error occurs, whenever the error occurs. So how can we insert? We can write this statement. Okay, so this is the syntax. So insert into, that's it. Okay, if you wanted to get the data from here and insert, so this is the statement you need to write. Insert into table, source table, destination table, select star from the source table. When you write this line, all the data is going to go here. Let me alter this stored prop. Clear? If everything is successful, means for example, I'll give like this. Everything is successful means there is no data in this. There is no data in this. And if there's a failure here, if there's a failure here, the data will get recorded. One row is affected. One row means this row is went to this table. Clear? So, so and so time, this stored procedure is getting an error. Clear? So this is how the exceptions can be handled. So we need to create one table like this, and we need to add this one more statement in all our stored procs. Let's go there and say insert into, this is a table name, select star from the table. So this is a source. You're getting the data. This is the destination table. You're inserting the data. You need to simply put like this. Clear? However, we are implementing the errors in SSS packages. We're capturing a lot of data, right? So how do you handle errors in the store procedures? Means you need to use begin, try, and try, and we have a predefined functions, error line, error message, error number, and all of them. So using this, you should be able to capture the data. If you wanted to capture the data, you have to create one table, log table, and with the same columns as in the catch block, and you include the line here. So whenever there is error occurs, the stored proc name will get captured, the time and everything will get captured. Clear? Here the stored proc name will be this name, right? So if there's a problem here, the same stored proc name will get captured there. Clear? So all the stored procedures, whenever they are executing, if they get any errors, so because of this line, all the stored procs are going to be putting the logs into here. So any DBA, any developer can read these logs. They can understand this stored proc is failing because of this issue. This stored proc is failed so and so time because of this issue. So people knows that there is a problem happening. Clear? So the stored proc name is getting captured very, very easily. This is what is called exception handling or error handling. Clear? So what is the purpose of a return statement? Return statement not to return the data. Output parameters are used to return the data. So if you wanted to use return statement will tell you whether the called stored proc is successfully executed or not. Am I clear? So this is very, very important thing. Return zero means a success. Return non-zero means a failure. So if there's a failure, you will be able to get like this. Am I clear, guys? So this is very, very important thing. Thank you, guys. Any questions?